Hello, I'm Sally Taylor. Welcome to South Today. In tonight's programme, complaints of a postcode lottery. The same condition, the same care needs, but a £500 a week difference in what these men receive.
I realise I need a lot of support, so I'd like to do what I can to give something back.
Changing times, how cuts to the forces are posing new challenges to Navy chaplains. Into Africa, the Dorset charity bringing hope to a country scarred by genocide.
It was hard to hold back the tears, and the people around us were being so brave.
And Mersey beat. The Royals celebrate a sweet victory and an FA Cup quarter-final place. Claims of a postcode lottery to pay for care for people with debilitating illnesses have been highlighted in the south. Two neighbouring local authorities are paying vastly different sums to two people who have the same condition and need the same level of care. Now, this is Jon Hastie here, and this is Mike Morwood. They both have Duchenne muscular dystrophy and both need 24-hour care. It's a muscle wasting condition which gets worse over time and shortens life expectancy, with many people dying in their 20s. Both Jon and Mike receive the government's Independent Living Fund. Now, that's about £300 a week. But the big difference comes with what they receive from social services. Jon, who's 30 years old, lives in West Sussex. He gets about £400 a week from West Sussex Social Services to pay for his care. Mike, who's 27, lives in neighbouring Surrey. Now, his social services allowance for care is about £900 a week. Well, that's a difference of £500 a week, or £26,000 per year. Well, tonight there are calls for such anomalies to be cut out of the system. First tonight, Mark Sanders has been to meet Jon Hastie.
Jon Hastie has 24-hour care to enable him to live in his own home. He relies on volunteers and some paid help. Jon does have a part-time job with a disability charity, but he depends on money from West Sussex Social Services and the Independent Living Fund for people with severe disabilities. He insists what he gets from social services, £409 per week, isn't enough to allow his level of care to continue. Jon says his money has almost run out. He fears he may have to go into a nursing home, and that could destroy his independence.
I like going to the pub, I like to go into the theatre and cinema. I wouldn't be able to do all of that and to live the life that I want to live in an institution. And I wouldn't even be able to go to work because that wouldn't fit in with the routines of an institution. And, you know, all I want to do is kind of make my contribution to society. I realise I need a lot of support, so I'd like to do what I can to give something back.
What this man with a PhD can't understand is why the amount he receives from West Sussex Social Services is so much lower than those with a similar level of need can get in other areas. My colleague Sean Killick has the picture from Surrey.
Mike Morwood started using a wheelchair at the age of 11. He now needs 24-hour-a-day care and has a team of 3 full-time staff and 1 part-time. He receives around twice as much care funding as Jon in West Sussex, more than £900 from social services. It helps him to live on his own. Last November he moved into a specially adapted house. The bathroom has a hoist and other equipment, the hall and doors were widened and a ramp was built outside. Mike feels it's wrong that Jon should receive much less.
I think it's very bad that someone with a similar level of needs gets much less funding just because of where they happen to live. You know, I think every disabled person's got the right to live independently and to do what they want to with their life, and it's you know, it's not right that there's still a kind of postcode lottery.
Mike has a master's degree in early modern music, enjoys going into the countryside and the cinema and socialising with friends.
Disabled people are normal. They might have some difficulties, but it doesn't mean that they can't do anything, and I don't think it's right for people to be stuck at home or, you know, not able to go and do something because they don't have the support they need. That just doesn't make sense to me.
Mike Morwood. Well, we asked West Sussex County Council for their views on the allowance paid to Jon Hastie, and this is what they told us. Jonathan has received extensive support from West Sussex County Council over 12 years, enabling him to live as independently as possible and to help him maximise his academic and working potential. Jonathan's needs have increased recently, which he has highlighted to us, and we are working with him to achieve the best possible solution, taking into account our duty for fair and responsible use of public monies. We are confident we can achieve a mutually acceptable way forward given compromises on both sides. We also asked Surrey County Council for its comments on Mike's case and his allowance, and it said Mike was given a type of personal budget called a direct payment after we had assessed the support he needed to live independently in his own home. This means he was given control over the money spent on him to buy the care he wants. Mike decided to employ personal assistants on a shift basis to help with his daily living. Well, a little earlier today I spoke to Robert Meadowcroft of the Muscular Dystrophy campaign, and I began by asking him if such geographical anomalies were common.
Sadly, this is quite common, that people have different levels of support from different parts of the country. What we'd like to see is a consistent system which ensures that people have their needs met. Now, needs may vary, therefore the amount of payments they get may vary, but the key thing is people's right to live independently should be protected and respected.
It's very worrying that one of these gentlemen has got to dip into his own savings and has already admitted he'll run out of money very quickly.
This is quite alarming, isn't it? If I can say from the point of view of the Muscular Dystrophy campaign, I would suggest that people like the gentleman we've heard from actually are doing a first-class job in the sense that they want to live independently, maintain their employment where they can do, be self-sufficient. And, you know, their lives, in some people's eyes, are quite difficult. A muscle-weakening condition that is progressive with no cure. They want to live independently despite all the physical difficulties they're facing. And therefore the system should protect that. And to find that two people with very similar symptoms, if you like, have such a wide disparity in the support they get is simply not justifiable. And
that's quite interesting, because you talk about them wanting to live independently, but, you know, given the economic conditions we're in, with councils having to make cuts, is this 24-hour care in the home for these kind of people actually going to be sustainable?
Yes, it is. It is sustainable. And I would say this, that when you have good quality care and good quality support, there's a payback to the taxpayer as well. Look at it from this point of view. If somebody with quite severe disabilities is able to continue to work and pay taxes, pay their mortgage, all those sorts of things, there's a benefit to the whole community from that. If instead we shunt people off, out of sight, out of mind, to residential care, and these are young men, let's not forget, these are not retired people who've lived a full life, these are young men whose life in a sense is before them, they have the right, like the rest of us, to live independently. And I think we as a society should respect that.
Robert Meadowcroft, thank you.
Thank you.
And that story came about as a result of an email from Jon Hastie to us here at South Today. Now, if you think there's a story that we should know about and you want to tell us your story, drop us an email at south.today@bbc.co.uk.